Hello, my name is Robert Way, and I'm sitting here in the Mill Coffee Shop over by Lincoln High with Judy King, who has recently become semi-famous after an incident with Senator Sasse at Memorial Stadium. There's a lot of questions about Judy King and what she believes and what happened that day, and there hasn't been really a lot from her in the paper, so we thought we'd take a second to sit down and talk to her. Please note, for programming purposes, there will be no edits to this recording. It's going to stop, and it's going to end, and we're not going to edit it at all. So if it doesn't seem crisp, it's because we're just doing this one take live. So, Judy, where were you born?
Gearing, Nebraska.
Out west.
Yes.
How'd you get to Lincoln?
I came down here after I was divorced and met my husband here, and we got married.
Very neat. You like Lincoln?
Yes, we've been here a long time.
So this happened, I want to say, first football game of the season?
Yes.
Do you often go to Nebraska football games?
Yes, I've been to them. My parents owned the seat that I sit in, and when they passed away, we bought those seats. So I've been here since probably 1969.
Probably a lot of good memories.
Yes.
Did you, from 1969 till a couple weeks ago, had you ever had any interaction with memorial security?
No.
So that's a lot of years, and you never had any interaction?
No.
All right, well, I don't know, Judy. You might not be the exciting interview I was hoping for. So we were talking about you and activism. When's the first time you ever got involved in activism?
When I was working at the state fire marshal's office, I used to take the calls for the leaks in the pipeline and the tanks and call them into DEQ, and it made me curious about when they were getting cleaned up and how. And once I saw the humongous list that they had of uncleaned up, or tanks that hadn't been cleaned up yet, I started thinking about my drinking water. And the KXL pipeline was coming in, and I just wondered why they would bring a pipeline in without cleaning up all these old contaminated sites. And so I started getting into the pipeline issue, the KXL pipeline issue, and standing up for that.
How about past presidents? A lot of people protested George W. Bush. Did you ever go to a George W. Bush protest?
No.
How about his dad? Some people protested him. You ever go to one of those protests?
No, I've never protested any president until recently.
So that's interesting. Personally, I've been to lots of protests over the years, but I never made the front page, so I might not be doing it right. But maybe I'll learn a thing or two. So you had gone to about a while ago. You went to Washington on an issue. What was that issue?
It was the Kavanaugh hearings, and a group of women went out there to tell their stories so that it would help educate our senators that were going to vote on that issue in the next couple days. And most of us that have had either family or ourselves that have been sexually assaulted wanted to make sure that they understood what they were voting on. And they didn't even bother to meet with us face to face.
Now, when you say they, did any public officials meet with you?
No.
Nobody?
Their staff did.
The staff from what offices?
Fisher and Sasse.
Now, how many people were with you when you went to go to Washington? Was it just you and a friend?
Probably about 30 people.
30 people. And
On
did you?
two.
And were you there for multiple days?
Yes.
And you tried to schedule a meeting all those days?
Yes.
And you were available all those days?
Yes.
And you all from Nebraska?
Yes. Well, there were women from all over the United States visiting with their senators, and most of the senators met with these women. People came from Alaska. Women came from Alaska.
Were there multiple women from Nebraska?
Yes.
And did any of them get a meeting?
No.
And that was about a year ago, because Kavanaugh's been in power a while, and he's recently in the news, and there's some more concerns about his behavior, but I don't know what happened way back then, so we won't go into that, but it has resurfaced in the news. Honestly, I've known you for a while. I've known Judy through the pipeline fight, and then since 2016 a couple times. We might have talked about this. I didn't really think too much about your meeting, your attempt to go to Washington. But then, in the first football game of the year, you have an incident, and it broke over Facebook, and seeing read first that there had been an incident. What happened?
I had been sending emails trying to have Senator Sasse's scheduler have a meeting so that we could meet face to face with Senator Sasse. And last football season, I heard he was out selling Renzos. And so I said in some of my emails that it was disturbing to see that he was out selling Renzos when we've been trying to meet with him all this time, and he still can't meet with us face to face. And with the issue of him understanding how women are after they've been sexually assaulted. And he just, I've kept asking through the...
And at no time were you offered a face-to-face meeting with the senator?
No.
And the senator, to my recollection, hasn't had a town hall meeting in quite some time.
That's correct.
So, that's interesting. So, did you go, when you arrived at the stadium, did you know you were going to see the senator?
Yes. I mean, I didn't know for sure, but I assumed if he did sell Renzos there, that I was not going to be silent.
So, you saw the senator, you walked in there, and you were going to have a thing to do to say to him.
Yes. Yes.
So you went up to him, and according to the newspaper article, and maybe I got the quote wrong, that he didn't want to do this right now.
He just looked at me because he's seen me at the other town hall that I went to, and that was out of town. That wasn't here in Lincoln, but we drove quite a ways to see him at a town hall.
So he recognized you?
Yes.
And did you even get a chance to ask him what you wanted to talk about?
No, he just...
So he immediately said he didn't have time for you?
Yes.
So that's interesting, because to me that means he was aware of the situation, but wasn't ready to engage in that situation now. You continued to try and talk to him as he continued to walk away throughout the stadium for a little while, and then after that, you eventually left the stadium. You were just asked to leave by security?
Yes.
Your ticket's still valid?
Yes.
So you can go back to the stadium.
Yeah, I had no problem in this last game.
Was the UNL security, were they pleasant people?
Yeah.
They've
always been pleasant all these years to me. I've sat in that same seat, and they've always been pleasant.
So, weeks later, it's not in CNN Red anymore. It's the front page of the newspaper, and this story comes out. What was that experience like, being on the front page?
Well, it's a little intimidating for me. I guess I wasn't ready for that, but
I wouldn't be ready for that. I mean, that's a big thing.
but my friends that have been sexually assaulted were proud of what I did, I guess, and my other friends, they all understood why I did it. Probably wouldn't have chosen that way again. I may have just called in and asked the university, which I did the day after that happened, or the next Monday. I called into the university and asked them why, if he can sell Renzas, why wouldn't the Democrats or people running against him be able to come in and sell Renzas?
And for those not familiar with the story, it should be made clear that Senator Sasse and any other candidate will no longer be selling Runza, at least during this campaign cycle. So the university definitely at least heard you out.
Yes, and then she agreed, that whoever I talked to agreed, and then told me also that he wasn't on the list to hawk Renzas.
Well, that's basically what I wanted to ask you about, and I wanted to give you a chance to be able to say more than a couple lines. Is there anything else before we close up you'd like to talk about?
No, I think that's good. Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks for talking.